about is you talking about Beyonce. I don't like when people talk about Beyonce. We're not gonna do that. You done up.
Ray J is finally exposing the Carters for using him as their freak-off slave, and the details are going to have you gagged. Folks were already side-eyeing him because he was always defending them, specifically Beyonce. Word on the street is that he and Beyonce allegedly had some kind of intimate relationship at some point, and there are even tapes of it currently being auctioned in Hollywood, with TMZ being the highest bidder. And just when we thought things couldn't get any messier, Rihanna's ex-publicist Jonathan Hay stepped into the chat and accused Jay-Z of apparently making Ray J blow Beyonce out as he watched and touched himself, just like Diddy was doing with Cassie. Honey, these industry insiders are getting brave, and it would be better for these celebrities to start confessing before all this mess fully comes out. Now, if y'all remember, Ray J was quick to defend Jay-Z and Beyonce a while back when Jaguar got on Piers Morgan and made those wild claims about Jay and Beyonce being involved in Diddy's dirty business and keeping bodies in their house for satanic rituals. He clapped back at Jaguar right even before Jay and Beyonce threatened to sue her and Piers.
Here you disrespect Jay-Z and Beyonce. Jay-Z is an OG. Don't ever disrespect Beyonce, because now that you lying on me, and I know for sure that all the you're saying is a lie. Now you wanna go for Beyonce. Beyonce has never done nothing to nobody. I haven't seen Beyonce make one mistake. And you know what? That's somebody that's really trying to make sure that her image is in the forefront and be a role model for all these young girls and all the people that's inspiring to be like her or to follow down a path like that. That's a path you want to follow down. Why are you trying to f that up? Why are you lying on Jay-Z and Beyonce?
The last time Ray J defended someone this much was Diddy, and we all know he only defended Diddy because of his history with him. Anyway, not too long after this, Rihanna's ex-publicist, Jonathan Hay, also got on an interview and gave us the alleged real tea about why Ray J was going that hard for Beyonce. Jonathan was the same publicist who put those allegations back in the day that Jay-Z was sleeping with Rihanna. He ended up backtracking on that, but now he claims that everything he said was true and that he only took it back because Jay threatened him into doing so.
What I do know for a fact, not alleged, but DJ Khaled is bisexual, and Jay-Z has also participated in bisexual activities.
Would you want to say allegedly for your safety?
There's no, I would say allegedly if it was allegedly. DJ Khaled, 100% has been involved in, he's bisexual. I did a show called One Shot, and he was in Miami, and he was open with the guy that he was with. He was gay. And I don't understand what happens there where, because nobody said anything to me like, hey, make sure you don't, go out and say this on record. Make sure you don't say this, da-da-da-da. So it's weird that would still be hidden. That seems like that should be a fact that DJ Khaled, at least in 2016, was definitely bisexual.
Okay, and we're gonna...
And Jay-Z is without question bisexual.
Okay.
Jonathan didn't stop there. He also accused Jay-Z of being DL, claiming that he saw Jay-Z allegedly getting freaky with a trans woman. Mind you, he and Beyonce were still very much married at the time of this supposed incident.
You know?
Did you personally see Jay-Z with transgender women? You personally?
I have, correct. It was during it was during the tour. It was during the tour with the Mill, DMX, Jay-Z.
The Hard Knock Life.
No.
Or maybe a different one.
Yeah, they had the documentary for it. What was that called? I'll think of it. I'll think of it here in a little bit.
Yeah, it was a documentary, backstage or the
backstage with the Mill and all that. I used to work with her, and I definitely. It was unmistakable. In 2024, the trans women are, it can be hard, like a lot of people that, they don't know, but back then it wasn't as advanced, and you could clearly tell, that was a guy.
Now this is where things get even crazier. Jonathan also said Jay was doing freak-offs just like the ones Diddy was doing with Cassie. However, unlike Diddy, he wasn't going in for male escorts. He was making men in the industry allegedly sleep with Beyonce. And guess what? Ray J was one of them. On one occasion, Jonathan claims Jay watched Ray J sleep with Beyonce as he touched himself.
He is a cuckold, right? He likes to watch Beyonce with other men. Ray J, from what I heard, even before all this happened, was one of the guys that used to smash Beyonce while Jay-Z would watch.
Since Jonathan hasn't provided any receipts for what he's saying, we cannot just jump into conclusions. But people believe this is why Ray J was so defensive over Beyonce, even though from the outside looking in, he shouldn't really care about her that much. Now remember those claims Jonathan made about Jay allegedly touching then 17-year-old Rihanna? Well, he claims that after he put out that story, federal agents later contacted him to help in their investigation into Jay-Z because they believed that he transported Rihanna from overseas into the United States just to have an affair with him for pay. Basically, they were accusing Jay-Z of trafficking. The officers clarified that they were investigating Jay-Z for allegedly engaging in sexual activity with underage Rihanna and transporting her across international borders. They said she wasn't the only one, and there were many others. These are some serious allegations this man is making, but the fact that he's not even saying it allegedly makes people convinced that he has receipts to defend his claims. Not only that, but there have been some allegations about Beyonce messing with men on the lie behind the scenes, even though she's only posed up with Jay-Z. There were even rumors about her and Pimp C having a relationship, and that relationship supposedly having something to do with his death. Apparently, there was a tape of her and C, but Jay supposedly ended him before he got the chance to put it out.
And tell them who it is. We still trying to find out who was in this Pimp C tape.
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time. And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio, and every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage, but I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a millionaire, man. Whoever it was, they would have to kill me, man. I know TMZ would have paid a bank for that one, man. But yeah, it is a tape, and if you read the comments, a lot of people figured out. Okay. A lot of people figured out because, you know, people that was in Houston at the time, they know who was a little loose, you know, as a Montana goose. You know what I mean? So, you know, they also know who was having money at the time. So it's not really hard to figure out. But, you know,
just tell us. Just say the name.
But no, the only reason why I won't tell it because Pimp C is not here. So therefore, I'm respecting his wishes. If he wanted to get out, maybe he would have put it out. Maybe he might have had to deal with the situation. You know what I'm saying?
Word on the street is Jay didn't just take Pimp out. The way he did, it was very symbolic and sinister. According to DJ Paul of 3-6 Mafia, Pimp's manager said Pimp's body was positioned like he was praying, with blood all over, suggesting that he had been hit in the head. Mind you, prior to this, there was already tension between Jay-Z and Pimp. Record executive Greg Taylor said right after the deal for Jay-Z and UGK to collaborate on Big Pimpin' was cut, he called Pimp. The call was on speaker, but Pimp didn't know this, and he started dissing Jay.
Meeting to go meet with Dame Dash. So we go after I leave Java, go to Rock to the Rock. As soon as I sit down there, Dame Dash opened up his checkbook, cut a check for $1 million. I'm like, whoa. He like, I was like, is this for sure? He was like, no. He said, we want to with UGK. I was like, what? He's like, we want to with your boys. That's right. So I immediately picked up the phone and called Pimp C because all I was trying to get was 100,000. When Dame cut that $1 million, I called Pimp on the phone like, yo, Pimp, and him and Jamal was in the house. And I could hear a tussle or some type of confrontation, right? And I'm like, calm down, bro. Y'all calm down, Pimp.
I ran up the cable bill.
They was fighting. Okay, they was fighting like hard. And I'm like, Pimp, stop whatever you doing right now. I told you what was going down with Jamal when you moved him up in there. I said, but right now, I got $1 million check for you. And all we wanted was 100,000. I was just like, who is that with? I said, with Rockefeller. He was like, what? I was like, yeah. He was like, I'm watching Dan with the checkbook, he writing it out. He was like, ain't that with, over there with Jay-Z? I was like, yeah. He was like, man, tell him to take that check and go give it to Tupac Mama, man.
There were also rumors that Beyonce and Mos Def were messing around. This hasn't been confirmed by either of them, but back in the day, folks behind the scenes claimed they had something going on that went beyond work. Cypher Sounds even spilled the tea about the time he spent a weekend with Destiny's Child. He said while he was cutting it up with them, he noticed that Beyonce and Mos were unusually close.
I DJ'd for Mos Def, and we went over to London for some shows, and Destiny's Child was performing there. And I don't know if you know this, and don't tell anybody if you don't, but Mos Def kind of used to mess with Beyonce.
Oh, and let's not forget those rumors about Beyonce apparently being a DL lesbian.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked by my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington, Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington, who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough because she just started all the girls. Impulse control issues.
As if things couldn't get any worse, the lawyer Ariel Mitchell Kidd revealed in an interview that she recently got approached by a potential client who wanted her to reinsert them in the sale of a freak-off tape between Diddy and a certain high-profile celebrity. Ariel said the person in the video was more high-profile than Diddy and wasn't aware they were being recorded.
I also was just recently contacted by someone who wanted me to essentially represent them in the sale of one of the Diddy tapes. So, which I declined that because...
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is
Yes,
new.
there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood, but one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of and to contact the person who was in the video to see if they were interested in purchasing the video before it became a public knowledge.
I've heard this before, so like a catch and kill?
Catch and kill, correct.
Wow, can you, and I guess you can't reveal the person who is on
No,
this
I can't
tape.
explain who the person was, but Mr.
High profile?
Mr. Combs was in the tape, and this other person is, I would venture to say, more high profile than Mr. Combs.
Really? Really? And you've seen it?
I've seen stills of the video.
Okay.
So
you can verify
that it exists, that it's real, that the other person in the video is very visible. It's no question if it's that person in the video. And I can tell the video was pornographic in nature.
People immediately assumed it was Beyonce for two reasons. First, there are only a few celebrities more high profile than Diddy, and she's one of them. Second, they also said if she really had a tape with Pimp C, then their chances of her having one with Diddy wasn't far-fetched. People also brought up this interview The Baby did, in which he talked about the time he was caught up in a private meeting with Diddy, Beyonce, and Jay-Z at Diddy's house.
Beyonce, I was at a party at Diddy crib in LA. This was the beginning of 2020. You know what I mean? Diddy had put everybody else out the crib, like the influx of people he had put them out. But he had took a liking to me in particular around the time, man. It was really, you know what I mean, like putting his arm around me.
Right.
So he had put majority of the people out, but he allowed me to stay in there.
Mm-hmm.
Me and maybe about 15 others.
Right.
Jay-Z and Beyonce being, two of the other 15 people in the room. So that'll just put it into perspective of the type of company I was in at the moment, And she came over and introduced herself to me like as if she had to.
Right.
Beyonce, cut it out. But I'm a big fan of your work, you know what I'm saying? Whoop de whoop, and that was just dope. That was dope as hell to me, man. That was.
With all this considered, people feel like the allegations surrounding Ray J and Beyonce could be true, and they aren't holding back from dragging her. Jay-Z bought Beyonce decades ago from her daddy. He's her handler, y'all slow as hell. Another person said, the last time I heard about a Beyonce tape was when Pimp C mentioned it. Next thing you know, that man is unalived. But now I want to know your thoughts. Do you really think Jay-Z made Beyonce sleep with Ray J? And if he did, how long do you think it went on for? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And don't forget to click here to watch this other messy video.